Okay. So I'll start the session. Okay, thank you for confirming, everybody. Let me start the session. So in this session, we will be going to discuss about the Linux administration course according to the Red Hat syllabus. So most of the topics are there with same as RSCSA. Apart from that, some additional services also there in this course. So this course is suitable for the people who are looking to work on the administration side. So this course is about the Linux administration. Yes. So I hope you are aware about what is Linux. So simply just you can write it whatever you know about the Linux in one word or two words or few words. So according to you, what is Linux? Because we are going to start Linux administration course. Yes. So the first and fundamental thing foremost is we should be knowing little bit about what is Linux. So whatever you know it, you please write it. So what is Linux? I'm just waiting for your reply on the chat box. Yes, I got the answer from Manoj. Yes, he's saying it's an operating system. So everybody agree with this answer? Or anybody have any different opinion? Okay, so most of the people are okay. Yes, so I feel if you combine the Manoj answer as well as our friend Jdbc's answer, it will be a nice combination of the answer. So in single word, you can say Linux is an open source operating system. Yes. Yes. Manoj, what you have said is not wrong, but I feel Jdbc's answer is more appropriate. So the thing which separate the Linux from other OS is Linux is an open source operating system. So first we will start with what? Operating system. So what is the use of operating system? How do you define an operating system? So let me just start with that. Then I'll go through the what are the topics which we are going to discuss through this Linux administration course, which will be around like 32 to 34 days. Okay. So let me just start with the fundamental thing, the definition of the operating system. So Linux is an open source operating system. What is open source? We will discuss later. Let me start with the what is the meaning of operating system. Suppose I have a machine. It might be a desktop or a laptop. So this is a machine. So as you know, the computer is a combination of hardware and the software. So I have a machine which consists of hardware and software. Now, as a user, I'm sitting here, but in this machine, there is no OS. In this machine, there is no OS. No operating system is installed. Now, as a user, can I use this machine? As a user, I'm sitting here. Can I use this machine, which is not having any OS? So can I able to use it? Please tell me yes or no. So I got one answer from our friend Veera. He's saying, yes, I can use it. So everybody think, can I use this machine? Manoj is also saying yes. So I hope You might have understood the question or not, I don't know. I repeat, I'm having one laptop. In that, a laptop means a machine, a computer, which is a combination of hardware and software. But in this laptop, I don't have any OS. There is no OS installed in it. So I'm sitting on this laptop, I'm trying to use it. Can I able to use this computer, this laptop? Can I use it without any OS? No. So some people are saying yes, some people are saying no. So earlier, I may be not clear with that question because Manoj was saying earlier yes. Now he's saying no. So which answer is right? Out of these two answers, one which will be definitely right. Either yes or no. The answer is, the correct answer is, I cannot use a computer without OS. Now, what is the role of the OS? How do you define a OS? So for that, we can take one simple example. Let me assume that, like since I belong to Telangana, Hyderabad, suppose I know only Telugu language, and you may be from some different parts of India, maybe suppose some Hindi speaking state, maybe Madhya Pradesh or something like that, Maharashtra somewhere. So no, you know Telugu, suppose I know only Telugu, you know only Hindi. Can we communicate? Can we communicate? Let us assume for a minute, you know only Hindi, I know only Telugu. So can we communicate? Yes, tell me, yes or no? We cannot communicate. Then how we can communicate? You know only Hindi language, I know only Telugu language. So then how we can communicate? Yes, how we can communicate? There has to be some option, no? What is that option? How can I communicate with you and you can communicate with me? Yes, what may be the option? There is no option or option will be there? Yes, our friend Debishis is right. I can go for one person, mediator or translator, who understand your language as well as my language. So exactly why I asked this question means exactly same concept will be used here. So your computer, whether it is a desktop or laptop, consists of hardware and software. So you tell me, hardware understand which language? Hardware of the computer understand which language? Hardware of the computer understand which language? Yes. Again, Debishis is right. Yes, nice. Binary. So binary language means what? The binary language is given in the form of zeros and ones. Now, the software understand which language? High level language. Software understand high level language. Binary hardware understand binary language, zeros and ones. So now, can they able to communicate with each other to operate this computer? No, because it is something like that. We have discussed the example. No, you know Telugu. Sorry, you know Hindi. I know Telugu. So can we communicate? No. How it will be possible? Directly, it may be not possible. So we have to take the help of some mediator, translator, third person. So same way, the computer hardware understand binary language. Computer software understand high level language. So can they communicate with each other so that they can work? No. So we need the mediator, a translator between hardware and software. So who is that mediator? Who is the translator between the hardware and the hardware, binary language and software high level language? Who is that mediator? Yes. Yes. Again, Debussy is right. Nice. Yes. The mediator between the hardware and the software is operating system. Yes. So now how can we define the operating system? So operating system is a physical thing or logical thing? Physical means which has this appearance, which we can see it. Logical means just like a something which we can't see. So you may having different types of OS. So first, let us try to understand the definition. So before that, I am having this question or doubt in my mind. So operating system is a physical thing or logical thing? Yes, it's a physical thing or logical thing? Yes, Manoj this time is right. Yes, it's a logical thing. Any operating system is a collection of, any operating system is a collection of program. So can we see that programs? No, this collection of program. Any operating system is a collection of program which acts like a interface. So this is nothing but logical, not physical, logical. So any operating system is a collection of program which acts like an interface between the hardware and the software. So using this interface, we can we can operate the system or computer. So in single word, how do you define operating system? Operating system is a collection of program which acts like a interface between the user and the machine. Between the user and the machine. Okay. So what are the operating system most commonly used in the world? The names of the operating system. Yes. Example, we have different types of operating system in the world. So which is most commonly used? Like example, the operating system name, yes. One of the most commonly used OS is Windows, yes. Then any other OS? Yes, the basis. Yes, Linux, very nice. Windows, Linux. Yes, any other OS which is more commonly used in the world? Yes, you have now Mac also. Yes, earlier we were using what? Unix, but not now. So these are the most commonly predominantly to use in the world. So most of the computers in the world working on Windows. But our course, Linux administration, is based on which operating system? Our course, which we are discussing or starting today, is based on which operating system we are going to discuss the things, using which operating system we are going to discuss or learn this. Linux. So most of the people in the world are using Windows, but we are going to discuss this course using Linux. Why not Windows? Why Linux? The answer is Windows is a very good OS, no doubt about it. So yes, Windows is a very good OS. So most of the people in the world are using this OS. So the most important advantage of using the Windows is it is easy to operate. So it is easy to operate Windows operating system and graphical. So the most important advantage is having graphical interface, which makes it is easier to operate or use this Windows operating system. Then why we should discuss the Linux then? So in the world, most of the people are working on are using the which OS? Windows. No doubt about it. But we are discussing Linux. Why? So it is a fact. You want to work like a normal employees or you want to work like an administrator. So why you want to do this course? Your intention is to work like a normal employee, normal user, or your aim is to work like an administrator. Yes, as an administrator. So you can have administrator on Windows also, Linux also. But it is a fact, you can check most of the people in the world using Windows, no doubt about it. But those users are mostly client users, employees, users for home purpose or in the company. They might be mostly using the for user purpose, client purpose. So as it is a fact, most of the people in the world using Windows, exactly same way it is also a fact. Most of the servers in the world are working on which operating system you try to search. Or you ask any of your friends who are working, or if you are also working, you might be having some idea. Yes, most of the companies, servers in the world working on which operating system. So as an administrator, we have to manage or work on the servers. So most of the servers in the world, they are working on which operating system? Yes, you might also search in the Google. Yes, our friend Devisis is again right. You can also check or cross verify with anybody. Most of the servers, I'm not saying all, but most of the servers, they are working on Linux. Why? There has to be some, there has to be some uh, thing with the Linux, why people or companies, especially companies preferring the Linux. Yes, our friend already written the security aspect. So that we are going to learn why the Windows compared to Windows, why the more servers are preferred on Linux because of its features. So one of the important feature of Linux is Linux has very good security. Compare even the Windows people will accept that. Compared to the Windows, Linux is more secure, very good security. So Linux operating system, who has designed it? Who designed this Linux OS? Any idea? Yes, Red Hat is a company which are using the Linux operating system. But my question is, who designed the Linux operating system? Red Hat is one of the vendor company who are using the Linux OS. Okay, so why I have not got the answer? Because he may be not as popular as Windows. So Windows operating system is designed or developed by whom? I hope that answer I may get it. Yes, who designed the Windows operating system? Okay, Yes, I finally got one answer from Jayasuriya. Very nice. Very nice. Yes, Linus Torvald is the person who designed the Linux OS. Yes, let us discuss about him. But before that, let me just get the answer, more easier answer. Who designed the Windows OS? Yes, who designed the Windows OS? Yes, please. Yes, Bill Gates. Yes, under the company Microsoft. So you are more familiar with maybe the Windows, but our friend Jay, I think Jay Surya has also given the answer that the Linux operating system is designed or developed by Linus Torvald. So please remember this name. Who designed the Linux OS? Linus Torvald. Yes, he may be not as popular as our genius Bill Gates. So, but you can also say about the Linus Torvald, he is also like a genius. He may be not as popular, not as rich as Bill Gates, but he's also a genius, both these gentlemen. And one more unique thing about this, both these gentlemen, both are alive, because when they designed or developed their respective OS, they were very young. So by the great grace of God, both are alive, both are with us. With us means they are in the world along with us. So So please remember, Windows OS is designed by Bill Gates using the DOS, and the Linux operating system is designed by Linus Torvald. His name is Linus Torvald. He is from Finland, using the using the yes. So Unix is designed using the Windows is designed using the DOS operating system. So same way, Linux operating system is designed by Linus Torvald. Linux operating system is designed using what? Anybody can just equate it. So please remember, Windows operating system designed by Bill Gates using the DOS. Using the DOS, Windows operating system is being designed. So same way, Linux operating system designed by Linus Torvald using what? Any answer? Yeah, okay, Jayasuriya, that is maybe your view. Is because it's OS is free, that's why it may not be popular. Okay. I'm just expecting the one answer from you. The Windows OS is designed using the DOS. So same way, Linux OS is designed using what? Can you please tell me? Anybody? So why I'm asking these many questions means just I wanted to know how far you know. After that, I'll continue. Okay, if you are not aware, you can simply write it. Not aware, something like that. Okay, so shall I tell you? Because I felt I have given enough time. Yes, so please remember, Windows OS is designed using the DOS. Same way, Linux operating system is being developed or designed using the Unix. So please remember, Linux is being designed using the Unix. Windows is designed using the DOS. So what is Unix? What is Unix? Unix was the first major operating system which was designed by AT&T, American Telephone and Telegraphs. But what is the main drawback with the Unix? Unix is an hardware dependent OS. What do you mean by hardware dependent OS? So Unix was designed by AT&T. So they designed in a such a way that Unix can be installed only on AT&T machine. So the disadvantage of Unix is no graphical interface, completely command based. But what is the main advantage with the Unix? I hope you might have heard some flavors in Unix. So the most important advantage of the Unix was very good OS, stability wise, security wise. Like Mac, it never used to get hang or get corrupted because we used to work only with the text mode with the Unix. But one of the disadvantage in Unix was Unix is a hardware dependent OS, similar to like Mac, which get installed on MacBooks or Apple's product. So same way, Unix can be installed only on the specific hardware. So the Unix, Unix is the first major operating system which is designed by AT&T, American Telephone and Telegraph, in 1973. So they kept their OS as hardware dependent. Means to install the Unix, which they have given the name like sys3, sys5, like in Windows we have Windows 7, 8, 10, 11. So similar to that, like they have given the name sys3, sys5, which can be installed only on AT&T machine. By that, they earn a lot of money because at that time there was no OS. Windows also came in the 80s, I think 83 or 84. So by that, they earn a lot of money. By seeing that, the other bigger companies like IBM, HP, Solaris, Sun Company. So they developed their own Unix product. So like IBM releases the Unix OS with what name? AIX. So AIX can be installed only on IBM machine. So HP developed HPUX Unix OS, which can be installed only on HP machine. So suppose if you have got a new project and you have to change the OS from one flavor or from one to the another in Unix case. Suppose you are using, so suppose AIX. Now you got a project which support maybe suppose HPUX. So you have to change the complete hardware from the what hardware of the HP. We have to use or we have to replace the IBM product with the HP. So which is a very expensive affair. That is the reason. That is the reason when the Unix was dominating the world, then when there was no option, people were using. But when this Bill Gates introduced this Windows, he introduced two things with the Windows operating system. One is Windows is a hardware independent OS, means Windows can be installed on any machine, whether you have Dell laptop, HP, Lenovo, assembled machine, you can install. And it has a graphical interface. So most of the people started using Windows, especially the home purpose. And literally the Unix was dying. So then what this Microsoft company did, most of the people started using Windows only. So they started raising their license key very often. Very frequently they started raising their license key. So this gentleman, Linus Torvalds, he wanted the persons, the general public, to have freedom from license issue. And he wanted to revive the Unix. Using this objective, he designed or developed a new operating system, which is called Linux. So after designing this Linux operating system, what is the main feature which separate the Linux from other OS? Linux is called open source operating system. So why it is called open source? So whatever coding or program the Linus Torvalds written to design this Linux OS, he put it over the internet. which normally nobody will do. So suppose Windows operating system designed by Bill Gates. So whatever coding or program he has written to design the Windows OS, will he put over the internet? No. Whether he has put that? No. So generally, whoever design or develop any new product, they will not show their source code or their coding or programs to other. But this gentleman, Linus Torvald, he wanted the people to have an alternate option other than Windows and freedom from license issue. Using this objective, he designed and developed a new OS, which is called Linux. So whatever coding or program he has written to design or develop this Linux, he put it over the internet, which anybody can access and modify. Because of that, Linux is called as open source operating system. Are you following? Yes, please. Can you confirm me? Are you following? So what is the main advantage with the Linux? Linux is called open source operating system. Open source means the source code of the Linux operating system, which is designed or written by the Linus Torvald. So he put it, whatever coding or programming he has written to design this Linux kernel, he put it over the internet, which anybody can access and modify. Because of that, we have so many flavors in Linux. So can you tell me any one of the flavor name? Yes, please. So I'm just waiting for your reply. Can I have your answers? Are you understanding? First of all, you tell me. Are you understanding? No reply. Yes. Are you following everyone? My voice is audible or not? Let me check. Okay. Okay. Fine. So now I hope you understood why what is the main specialty of Linux. Linux is called open source operating system. So what do you mean by open source? The source code of the Linux operating system, which is designed by Linus Torvald, he put it over the internet, whatever coding or program he has written to design the Linux kernel, which anybody can not only access but modify. Because of that, in Linux we have so many flavors. Can you just write any one of the flavor? Anyone? Yes, any one flavor you can write. Yes, I'm waiting for your reply. Yes, very nice, Devasis. Yes, CentOS, Red Hat, Ubuntu, very nice. Kali Linux, SUSE, Debian, these are all flavors of Linux, which is designed by different companies. So will it be possible in other OS? No, it is possible only in Linux. Why? Because Linux is an open source operating system. Open source means the source code of the Linux operating system, which is designed by Linus Torvald, is freely available over the internet, which anybody can access and modify. Because of that, so many flavors are available in Linux, which are been designed by different companies. Example, CentOS, Red Hat, Ubuntu, Kali Linux, Debian, SUSE, so many are there, and it keeps on coming. So the Linux operating system is a collection of programs. So this collection of program is logically, not physically, logically divided into two levels. So the first level of the Linux operating system program is called as shell. So is the first level is shell. And the second part of the Linux operating system program is called Linux kernel. So what is the use of the shell? what is the use of the kernel. We will discuss it. Okay. So if you are not following any point, please write it in the chat box or unmute your mic and tell me so that I can explain once again. So here, just a minute. So now coming to this once. So see, you can see here. So we have most commonly used operating system is Windows and Linux. So in Windows, we have client OS as well as server OS. So if you want to work like an administrator, you have to work on server OS. So in Linux, so this course is about Linux because most of the servers in the world are working on Linux. So Linux has been designed using the Unix. So what is the main thing which separate the Linux from other OS? Linux is an open source operating system. So what do you mean by open source? Yes, what do you mean by open source? Open source means the source code of the Linux, which is designed by source code of the Linux operating system, which is designed by Linus Torvald. He put it over the internet, which anybody can access and modify. Okay. Okay. So now here, so Unix is what? Unix is an operating system. Which type of operating system? Command based. But the main advantage with the Unix, very good security. Disadvantage, it is a hardware dependent OS. Like if you want to install the Solaris, it can be done on which machine? Sun machine. Now Sun machine is taken over by the Oracle. AIX can be installed only on IBM machine. HPX can be installed on HP machine. So we have some of the flavors like Red Hat, CentOS, Ubuntu, Kali Linux, SUSE, Debian. So why it is possible? Because Linux is an open source. Yes. So now, and the next question mostly the people ask is, can we learn all the flavors? So the answer is, it's not possible. And you don't need also. So if you are good with one flavor, you can work on any flavor. So it is something like that. Suppose if you know the car driving, so suppose one particular company brand you have, so you are driving that regularly every day. Now you have purchased some maybe more luxurious model. Now can you drive that or you cannot drive? So earlier you were using some like medium class car. Now you went to the little bit more luxurious car of different company. So again, do you need to learn the driving? Do you need to learn again the car driving? Or if you already were using that previous car, using that, you can able to drive that new model also. Will you able to do it or you cannot do? Yes, we can able to manage or we cannot. Yes, we can. So exactly same concept here. Exactly same concept here. So here the flavors, all the flavors architecture, the structure will be exactly same. So if you are good with any one flavor, you can easily work on other flavor. Like I told you the example of car. If you know one particular brand, the other one also, it may take some little bit of time, maybe a few hours, then or maybe 1 or 2 days, you will get adjusted. Same way, if you are good with any one flavor, you can work on any other flavor easily, exactly same way. So in most of the flavor, some commands might be same, some commands might be different. So how the people are working? So if you know in one flavor a command and the company server is on other flavor, they'll just Google it, they'll type that command, the equivalent command will get, they'll type it. So this is how the people are working. Okay. So when we talk about Linux, so Linux operating system, the collection of program is divided logically into two levels. First one is shell. So why the Linux has been preferred in the server? Because Linux is more secure. How it is secure? We will see structure wise also and the securities wise also. So let us first see the structure wise. So in Linux, your first program is called shell. So whenever we open the terminal to apply the command, we need to open terminal. Terminal when we open means we are opening the shell. So what is the default shell we use in Linux? /bin/bash. This is the default shell name. Now, what is the role of this shell? What it will do? What is the role of this shell? What it will do? Okay. So what is the role of the shell, which will be not there in Windows? So first of all, it will check command is correct or not. You have written some command. So that command is correct or not. First thing the shell will check. Now, if the command is supposed correct, next thing it will check that command is given by which user. That user is a super user or normal user, because most of the command the normal user cannot execute or cannot use, only few commands. All the commands can be used by super user. That super user in Linux is called root. Root user is called administrator account. Can use all the commands. Normal user only few commands. So whenever a user execute the command, first thing it will check by the shell is the command is correct or not, proper or not. If it is correct, then who has given that command? Normal user or administrator? Normal user means if that command can be executed by normal user, it will check. There is a folder called /bin. So in that it will check. Now that command cannot be executed by user means it will say permission denied or access denied. If suppose that command can be executed by normal user, it will show that execute that output. So what is the default shell we use in Linux? /bin/bash. So what is the role of this shell? First, it will check the command is correct or not. If it is correct, then what it will do that which user is giving that command. Then after that, it will check. If root is there, it will not check. By default, it will have the full permission. So that is your first rule. So what the shell will do? First, it will act like a command checker. After the command is found correct and the proper user is given, then what is the role of this shell now? It will convert. So when we do the task, we are writing in high level language, the commands. So the commands never understood by the our computer hardware. So what happens once we give the command on the terminal? First thing what happens? The shell that is here the terminal. So when we open the terminal means we are opening the shell. Or when you, yes, open the terminal means shell got open. So now what the shell will do? First it will check the command is given by which user. After checking that, it will check that user have the privileges to run that command or to execute or not. If it is yes, then immediately what it will do, it will convert or translate that command which is in high level to binary. Now it will send it to the kernel. So this is what happens in the background when you use the Linux OS. So first we'll open the terminal and we'll write that command. So first it will check that command is correct or not and who has given that. So once it is been given by the user, it will check who has given and that privilege is there or not. If it is there, immediately it will convert that high level language to the low level. It will convert the high level language into the binary because computer hardware will understand that only. So where this will go now? So it will convert, the shell will convert the input from high level language to binary and then it will send that binary to the kernel. Now kernel is the main part of the Linux OS. So kernel is something like a core or the brain of the Linux operating system. Like in our body, what the kernel, what the brain will do for our body, it will control and manage all our tasks. Whatever you are doing, everything will be controlled and managed by our brain in our body. So same way, whenever a task is correct, command is given correct, and it is given by the proper user, then the command will be changed into binary by the shell. If the command is wrong, it will not go to the shell. The shell will not give the command to the kernel. If the command is not proper, it will not come to the shell. Oh, sorry, it will not come to the kernel. If it is correct, then only it will come. Then after that, the kernel will check like a brain. This particular task should be done by which hardware and software. So kernel is called the interface between shell and hardware. So kernel is the core or the brain of the Linux operating system. So now it will decide this particular task should be done by which hardware and software. Then it will send to that. Now the task is done by the machine, hardware and software. That is your processor. With the help of the Linux kernel, the task is done. Now, once the output is ready, it is in binary format. So what the kernel will do now, it will send the output to the, again, to the shell. Now shell, what it will do, it will convert the output, which is in binary format, to high level language and displays on the monitor. So this is what happens when we use the Linux OS. So who will control and manage all the tasks? Linux kernel. It is same like our brain in our body. So security level is the shell is called security level because it is checking who has given this command, whether that user is having permission or not. Once it is correct, then it will send to the kernel. So this shell we don't have in Windows. So in Windows, if the shell is not there. So in Windows, what happens? Any unknown commands, also known or unknown commands, both will be run. So if any virus file also is there, it may attack. So in Windows, the files and direct files or the data is identified with the help of the extensions. For .exe, .exe. For database, .date. For media file, MP3. For batch file, .dot. So in Linux, we will not have any extensions. Like in Windows, the files are identified with their extension. But here, no such extension. So here, the files and directories are identified with the help of type of file and mode of permission. So if a first character hyphen means it is a normal file. If a first character dot means hidden file. If the first character B means block file. If it is L means link file. S means socket file. D means directory. P means file. Okay. So in Linux, the files are identified with the help of the type of permission and mode of type of file and mode of permission. So normally in Linux, the file does not have any execute permission. It is created with. So in Linux, we have very good security. That is the reason most of the servers are working on Linux. So it is having the security at the architecture level due to the shell and OS level due to the mode of permission. So in Linux, the file does not have any execute permission. So if any virus file is also there, it will not be executed. But in Windows, it will be. So the Linux course which we are going to start, we are starting now, it's a foundation course for your higher courses. So if you want to move towards the AWS, you want to work on DevOps, VMware admin, Oracle, Hadoop, SAP, without Linux knowledge, you cannot understand or cannot work. So for all this, the Linux is the main thing. And the course content will be such that I'll be going through that. So if you have a gap of 2 to 3 years, you can easily cover it. So this complete Linux course is divided into 2 parts, which will be of duration of 30 to 32 to 34 days. So I'll take the session mostly on every day, including Saturday. In rare cases, if any function or any festival, I'll not. But it will be informed to you earlier one day. So this course, Linux Administration, which we are starting now, mainly divided, this course content is divided into 2 parts, standalone and network admin. So in standalone, mostly we are working through a single machine. So first, this type of questions will be there. Like suppose I'm not from the engineering background, can I do this Linux course? The answer is yes, you can. Anybody can do this course. And next question is, do we need to know any coding or program? The answer is absolutely not required. So Linux is something like a mathematics. The more you practice, more easier it will become. Initially, it may look a little bit tough, but if you spend some time on practice, definitely will get it. So now, in the first part, we'll be discussing introduction of Linux, like we have started today. So what is Linux, who designed, who developed, what are the features? Then tomorrow we'll discuss the structure of Linux OS. Then after that, we'll be discussing how to install it. Then basic commands. So here I've just written just basic commands, but for basic commands, we'll be discussing about 2 to 3 days. Because if our foundation is good, our fundamental is good, we can able to understand it. So in the basic commands, we'll start with how to log in. After that, how to open the terminal, how to change the directory, how to check the content. All from basics, fundamentals will start. Then after that, we'll be discussing how to create a file using cat, touch and BID. After that, we'll be also discussing the how to create the directory, how to copy them, how to rename, how to delete. Then we will be also discussing soft and hard link, how to create the hard link, how to create the soft link. After that, we'll be going to discuss about booting process, loading of the OS. So how many stages are there, in which stage, what happens, along with the different run levels. So once it has been done, now your basics will be over. After that, we'll move to the administration part. So one of the important work is creating the user account and managing them. Then after that, group administration. So we'll be discussing like where the user's information will be stored, what are the details, how we can modify in user administration, how to create a user, how to assign password, how to modify the user detail according to the user database file. Then we'll be discussing group administration. What is a group? How to create a group? How we can apply, add multiple users, single user into the group before we apply the permission. So once we know how to create a group, we'll be discussing the how to apply the permission on users and group. So in Linux, we have three types of permission. So all the three we'll be discussing, starting with basic file permission. After that, we'll be discussing ACL, then advanced file permission. So here, after this permission is over, we'll be discussing about process management, managing your task or your work by using the PS process status command and top command. After that, we'll move to the disk management, second part, managing the hard disk. So to manage your hard disk efficiently and effectively, we have to create a partition. So we'll be discussing how to create a partition. After that, we'll be also discussing how to increase the logical memory, which is called swap partition. Then we will be discussing LVM, very important concept through which multiple hard disks can be combined into a single logical free space, through which we can do the resizing, LVM, logical volume management. And after that, we'll be discussing to prevent the data loss, we have to store the data in multiple disks using the RAID level, 0, 1, 5 we'll be discussing. Then after that, we'll be discussing how to take the backup of users data every day, variable data, by using the dump command. After that, we'll be discussing how to take the backup using the tar command, using compressed and uncompressed, both we'll see. Then CPI will copy into output. After that, the last topic in disk management will be auto scheduling, scheduling of jobs using ATM cron tab. So with this, the standalone topic will be completed. Now, network admin part, network administration. So in that, we'll start with what? How to assign the IP address, how we can take the remote desktop SSH. Telnet nobody is using SCP, copying the data from one machine to another. Then we'll be discussing to configure the servers. So for sharing purpose, we have three servers, FTP, NFS, Samba. All the three servers will be discussing how to configure FTP, NFS, and Samba. After that, we'll discuss how to configure DNS, which will convert name into IP. Then after that, we'll be discussing how to host a website using Apache Web Server and the configuration of DHCP server, which assign the IP to all the clients. So these are our total content, which we are going to cover through this course, Linux administration. So that brings to the end of our today's session. So before I close the session, if you have any questions, any doubt, any query, please ask me. You can unmute your mic and you can speak. Yes, videos will be shared everyday topic, and I have made 3 files. One file for practical steps, notepad file, all the practicals from first day to last day, and the topics wise I have collected the data. So the standalone one file I have made for the theory part, and for the theory part of the network admin, one file. So I'll be sending you all together 3 files. One practical step file of notepad where all the practical steps will be there. Second, I'll be sharing you this standalone content along with the network content, 2 files. So total 3 files. Okay. So any other question, Manoj? Okay, so can I close the session now? So that brings to the end of our today's session. Tomorrow we'll continue with the structure of Linux. So if you want to understand to operate the Linux, we need to understand where exactly what data will be stored. So that we will see tomorrow. Okay. So can I wind up the session? Okay. That's it for today. Thank you. See you tomorrow. Good night. I'm closing the session.